action.
Okay. What's up, Bulldogs? It's your boy, Andrew.
What's up, Bulldogs? Welcome back to PNN. I'm your host, Cece Mou. Coming up in today's episode, you'll be seeing a background of Earth Day, a talented musical duo, and the story of a Portola student chasing after his dreams in the sky. But before we get started, let's take a look at our morning announcements in today's Roundup.
Thanks, Cece. I'm Asher Wettstein with your morning Roundup. Before we get into our announcements, last week, April 22nd, was a special day for all of us, no matter where we are around the world.
April 22nd, otherwise known as Earth Day, marks the anniversary of the birth of the environmental movement in 1970. Over the course of the years leading up to the establishment of Earth Day, fossil fuel consumption rates within the U.S. began to accelerate. Air pollution was commonly referred to as the scent of prosperity, so up until the establishment of Earth Day, the vast majority of Americans were ignorant towards the dangers posed by environmental pollution. However, Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, initially published in 1962, presented an irrefutable connection between air pollution and health risks, thus raising public awareness and concern for the welfare of the environment. Earth Day is currently observed by more than 1 billion people across the globe. Thousands join every year in hopes of contributing to the effort and making a tangible difference. Today, the fight for our environment continues. How will you make a difference?
I hope we can all take a moment to reflect on the beauty of the world that surrounds us and continue to be mindful of our impact on the environment. In other news, prom is this Saturday on April 30th at 7 degrees for juniors and seniors. You can still buy tickets this week for $85 with ASB, $95 without, or at the door for $100. Also, next week marks the start of AP testing. Be sure to check out the College Board website or the Portola calendar to mark when your exams will be. At the same time, next week is Staff Appreciation Week, so let's all show how much we appreciate the hard work of our amazing Portola staff. All right, that's all for today's Roundup. Back to you, Cece.
Thanks for those updates, Asher. On Spotify, you can see upcoming artists everywhere, including one senior duo with their own student-produced single.
I hate that I care. My name is Puneet Singh. I like to sing and I also like to songwrite. So I've been singing for as long as I can remember. I'm part of the Sikh community, and so I've been singing religious music, and that's where I found out that I could really truly sing. And then from there, I started doing choir in elementary and middle school.
Puneet found her natural talent for singing at a young age, but her abilities really developed in her junior year of high school.
My junior year was definitely a harder time for me, especially because we were in hybrid, and it was just hard not feeling that connection with a lot of people. And so I wrote a couple songs back then that were just about that feeling of loneliness, but also that feeling of like, oh, I can overcome this and I can get through it, and then there's something brighter on the other side.
Going forward, Puneet continued to advance her music, but she didn't do it alone.
I'm Jaden. I'm a senior now, and I make music.
So we met in choir because we're both in Portola singers, and so we both kind of had that background in wanting to release music. And so he approached me after we had a conversation about like our shared interest, and then he was just saying like, hey, do you want to make a song together?
Puneet and I would stay in the choir room, and we would kind of like try to come up with an idea or some sort, and then try to make it flow well with the track itself, and that's kind of how we worked it.
So, with the help of Mr. Rangel, Jaden and Puneet got started on creating their single, titled Will You Be My Light Switch.
Jaden was the one that made the title, Will You Be My Light Switch, and so that was like the baseline lyrics that he wanted me to start with. It's almost like we made this song together and it was made for us to make in a sort of way, like my vocals were made for that piece, and like his production, like it was perfect for every part of the song. just advice for anyone else that's interested in creating music with someone else, like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and don't be afraid of what people are going to think about your music.
Taking a risk is like one of the best ways to put yourself out there and, you know, make yourself a better person.
It's your own story that you're trying to tell, and it's your own creative art form. And so just doing as much as you can to put yourself out there and create new music is the biggest thing you can do.
Congrats to Puneet and Jaden for all their accomplishments. Speaking of accomplishments, I think we need to get caught up on some of our Bulldogs athletes' amazing feats. Here's Ennes with sports.
You ready? He grabbed that right there. Are you ready? Is you ready? You say you ready. Whole squad ready. Is you ready? Are you ready? Is you ready? Whole squad ready. We came here to see Jet. What you got? No, not on my watch. No way. Bring what you got. I'm going to the top. You can bring what you got. I'm going to the top. Bring what you got. Bring what you got. I'm going to the top.
What's up, Bulldogs? I'm Ennes, and welcome back to another segment of PNN Sports. First, let's kick it off with some recent game scores. Baseball shut out Laguna Hills with a score of 4-0. Then boys tennis hammered Laguna Hills 17-1. Swim killed it against Irvine as the boys won 134-36 and the girls won 17-53. Next, the lacrosse program demolished Laguna Hills with the girls winning 27-6 and the boys 30-0. Boys volleyball also beat Laguna Hills with a score of 3-2 and are heading to CIF. Best of luck to you guys. Before I leave, let's congratulate Omar Valenzuela for committing to Whittier College to play Division III football. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Ennes Kahf, and now let's pass it back to Cece.
Thanks, Ennes. Our Bulldogs are definitely breaking barriers in athletics. One Portola student, however, broke barriers in another venture, flying.
You ready? Yeah. Give him the wag. All right, here we go.
After middle school, soaring into high school seems like a huge change, but for this student, flying into uncharted territory is exciting.
And we're flying easy. Nice and easy.
My name is Ben. I'm a freshman and I've been flying for around 2 years now.
Ben had dreamed of being a pilot since he was a kid, but his dream was soon made a reality when he was only in middle school.
I did my first flight with my powered flight instructor, and I think after that I was just instantly hooked and I was like, oh, I need to do this a lot more. I think it was just controlling the plane and having the freedom of going where I wanted to with the plane.
At the time, Ben didn't have the experience to fly solo without his instructor, Mr. Bill, by his side.
The first solo was definitely scary, not having the reassurance of if I mess up, like somebody can help me. Mr. Bill thought that I'd definitely be able to do it. So I'm like, oh, he's a really good glider pilot. I'll take his word for it and I'll go up.
For his first solo, which is really kind of a big hurdle, you know, a graduation step where now he's on his own. I'm confident, I have enough experience. I know when he's ready and I won't send him unless they are ready. And it's a real test.
After you take off, first emotion is, I don't know how to do this. And then I think maybe a couple minutes later, I was like, you know what, this is more fun than it is scary. You just kind of forget and you realize that you've been doing it all by yourself this entire time. And I realized like, I can do this actually pretty well. I think it definitely made me more confident.
As Ben reflects back on his first solo, he recognizes the independence that he's gained since then.
If you're younger, just figure out what you want to do, stick with it, invest time into it, and by the time you need to do what you need to do, you're already ready for it.
Thank you, Benjamin, for sharing your journey with us. Just as he aimed high to achieve his goals, we wish you all the best of luck on your upcoming AP exams. On that note, that marks the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on PNN.
Let's pass it back to Cece. Back up.